Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ignorant Intellectual on Media. Today, I thought we'd do our 32nd film in the top 100 films, father and daughter review. And the 32nd film is Vertigo, the Alfred Hitchcock film from 1958, a thriller kind of suspense film. Hitchcock is famous for this type of film. He actually made it a whole industry, this type of mystery and intrigue involved in his films. Basically, this one stars James Stewart and Kim Novak. James Stewart plays an ex-cop who has vertigo. He has a fear of heights that turns into vertigo. So a friend of his, from like an old friend of his, he ended up going meeting, and his friend asks him to investigate his wife because his wife is behaving strangely. And then we get into all the mystery and intrigue, and basically a murder occurs. And James Stewart ends up being the witness to it. Well, I don't want to ruin it. We could get into the details if you wish, but basically there's a body double involved in it, and other things involved in it that make the film like, you think the thing about it is after the murder, basically the wife runs into a tower. She runs up the top of the tower. James Stewart chases her up the tower, but then he gets the vertigo. He gets stuck, and then he sees a body, sees the wife jump off the top of the tower because she was suicidal, jump off the top of the tower, and he sees her through the window falling down to the ground or whatever, right? So he ends up becoming that witness. But what happens is you think the movie's going to end there, and then it continues on for another 30 minutes because what you actually saw or witnessed with James Stewart isn't what exactly happened. So and then you find out the reasons why and everything, and it gets quite interesting from there. Now, the pace of this one isn't as quick as some of his other films, right? So I don't know if he was trying to, Hitchcock, I mean, is trying to build up the suspense, but there was really no suspense in this until after the murder kind of thing, the last part of the film. So the building up to it seemed to go kind of slow. So it's like maybe we we're in a time where everything's fast or whatever, and so this slowness kind of drags on, right? So it's like maybe he could edit it better or move the pace on a bit quicker. Maybe this film could have been like an hour, maybe, or under an hour even. So, but overall, once the body goes flying off the tower, after that it gets quite interesting, right? And another thing that's quite interesting for me was when they went to the forest and you saw those big sequoia redwood trees. That was pretty cool. I don't know if that was like a painting or if they were actually there. They did film in San Francisco, so I'm assuming, because you go outside the city, like within 30 minutes or an hour or something, there's a big, huge forest full of these sequoia trees. So, and they're like thousands of years old, and they're huge, right? So I thought that was kind of interesting, seeing those trees, right? So, but overall, I thought it was a good film. I don't think it hasn't aged well over time with that slow pace at the beginning. I think, like other of his films, Psycho is better, The Birds is better, Rear Window is better. Also starred James Stewart when he witnesses a murder through the window of his apartment or whatever. That one was better. So he had a whole bunch of other films. This one is considered one of his greats, but like I said, the pace is kind of slow. What did you think?
I mean, I was honestly confused throughout the whole movie because, the woman claims to be possessed by someone that's like 100 years older. So I don't know if that was like, yeah.
A great grandmother.
I don't know if it was like hypnotic, like if she was hallucinating or if it was actually real, because I don't know, like it was just confusing to me. And the visuals were somewhat out of date, but it's also interesting because there was that one scene where the main guy character, I forgot his name, James Stewart, was experiencing vertigo, and there's like this whole visual like on your screen of like him being like experiencing it. It shows you what he's experiencing. I mean, it's interesting because it makes you feel what he's feeling, I guess, in a way, but it seems cartoonish rather than movie. I don't know, like it felt like I was watching a kids movie or whatever. But the ending is what confused me the most, because I mean, like overall, like I wasn't really following because it was just so confusing. But apparently, the wife that supposedly died is alive again. And then there was this whole explanation about the husband setting it up, but I still wasn't
We'll
really.
explain it to you, and then they'll know as well.
Yeah.
So, were you finished?
Well, overall, it was a meh movie for me. That's fine.
So basically, the whole situation with the tower is the girl that James Stewart actually meets is an actress. All right, she's not real. She's not the real husband or wife of his friend that asked to watch. She's setting him up, and basically, she gets dressed up like her, dyes her hair blonde, makes herself look like the wife, and then when she runs into the tower and runs up to the top, the husband, the killer, is already there with his actual wife, and she's up there in the top of the tower, and she's dead already because he snapped her neck, right?
Oh.
So they're the dead wife and the husband are waiting at the top of the tower. The actress girls runs up to the top of the tower. James Stewart runs up after, gets the vertigo, sees the body fall off the side of or jump off the side of the building, but that's the actual wife. The actual actress is still up there with the husband, and they're hiding behind the bell until the police come and leave, and then they leave afterwards. So it's basically a setup for a murder because the husband wants all of her money because it's the wife that has all the money. They're a very old family in San Francisco, right? And so they're setting it up like she's having visions or being possessed by like her great grandmother or whatever, and all this is to set up James Stewart to think that she's suicidal because she jumps into the river. In San Francisco Bay, and then she goes to the top of the tower, and then he thinks that she's jumped off, so he's a witness to a suicide rather than a murder because he doesn't get to the top of the tower and see the husband with the dead wife that he broke her neck and threw her off the tower, right? So that's the thing that was a bit confusing for me, but now we understand it now.
Yeah.
So the actress. So later after that, the film goes, and then he's all super sad. He's in the hospital and everything else. He's got mental issues because of his vertigo and everything. And then he ends up seeing the actress who actually played the wife, but now she's got kind of like brownish hair, and he doesn't recognize her as the actress. He recognizes her as somebody that looks like the actress because they kind of she pulled him along, and he fell in love with her. And she kind of reciprocated that love, and she did a confession letter to him, but then she ripped it up or whatever, right? But anyways, they get involved, and then he realizes that she's actually he gets her to wear the clothing that the wife would wear, dye her hair blonde, and everything. And then he realizes that she's actually the one that is pretending to be the wife, and then he figures it all out, right? And then that's the end of the film or whatever. So it was a good film, but I think there's going to be more Hitchcock on this up higher, and probably maybe Psycho or maybe Rear Window maybe on it later. I'm not sure. We'll see. But
it needs to be. I like the plot, but it needs to be directed better.
Yeah. Well, he's one of the greatest directors of all time. So.
Well, not this time.
Not this time, eh? So, all right. So let's see what's underneath. See if maybe it's the tower. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. All right. So film 32 is Vertigo. Okay, it's probably going to show a Vertigo thing, like a spinning.
I think this is what
thing.
it showed in the movie, like the visuals.
Yeah, with his face, but it was his face there, not the shadow or whatever. But the one thing that they did do when he hit that Vertigo was they were Hitchcock put the camera in, and then he zoomed out really quickly, and it made it feel like your reality is moving away from you, and that's how Vertigo feels because I've had it myself. And if I was to look somewhere, it gets really spinny. But also the thing, it feels like things are moving away from you, right? So static or non-moving objects are moving further away from you, right? So that's Vertigo. So next up is the Django Unchained, because the D is silent, as he says in the film, if I remember correctly. We'll watch that. That's a Quentin Tarantino film, and should be good. I think my daughter will like that film. I think. All right, so that's Vertigo, and If you like the video, leave us a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. We'll talk to you after we've watched Django Unchained. All right, and you have a great day. Bye for now.
Bye.